Hi, this is a piece I call American Walnut. Is the shape, style, size, or finish of this bowl quote unquote as good as it can get? Watch as I show you how I made this and then weigh in and let me know whether you think it is or it isn't. Okay, here we go. First, it is part of the story that I had intended for this to be a quick video because the project I was working on was nowhere near completion. It still isn't. A quick video would be done in a day, right? A few hours? LOL. I purchased this blank of unknown species for an unknown amount of money when I was stocking up on resources for future turnings while we were on vacation in South Central Michigan earlier this year. If you saw the unknown bowl video, you know how this happened. If you haven't seen that video, there is a link to it in the description. Let's get back to this quick project. Wood, as you might know, will do what wood will do, namely push your drill bit off center. So without using the drill press and securing the piece with a clamp, the drill bit went directly off center, resulting in a slightly smaller finished piece. I do have a drill press, but erroneously thought that I could accomplish my goal without mechanical advantages. I was wrong. Roughing out the blank, I realized that the blank was indeed walnut. A thought simmered that I had purchased the blank knowing that most of the walnut I was likely to come across in upstate New York was going to be 2 inches thick or less. Unless, of course, I went to an Amish sawmill, but then the wood would be wet, so drying time has to be included. I must have reasoned that the blank was worth it, or it wouldn't have been purchased. Anywho, a small mortise was cut in the bottom before a larger one was cut. I was going to make this a 3-footed bowl, hence the larger mortise, and that wouldn't have been quick at all. I think I gave up on that as soon as I realized there was going to be more time involved. As I started to shape the bottom of the bowl, the idea came to me of creating a random bunch of lines around the rim and then filling the random lines with red, white, and blue resin. The concept came from the Millie's rolling pin video, which I have also linked in the description. The random lines would of course be made using the handheld trim router. I originally toyed around with the idea of multiple diameters of bits, but settled on the 1/8 inch bit. I made random lines from the top and the side, but I'm not sure the difference is very visible. Just from the side might work for the next iteration. Knowing that I would have to create a custom mold to reduce the amount of resin wasted, I cut a disc of 3/4 inch scrap plywood into a circle just a little larger than the piece and used some strips cut from an old flexible cutting sheet to make the mold. Hot glue, of course. Knowing full well how resin sticks to wooden surfaces, I sprayed the mold with Stoner mold release spray. I poured enough resin in the mold to fill the lines, and then poured the remainder in various extra molds to use in future projects. About 5 hours in the pressure pot, and I was ready to get going on this quick video. Remember when I said that? As soon as I looked at it, I knew that I had under-poured and would have to make another batch of resin. That just figures, right? After the second pour, I was cleaning up the inside of the mortise where some CA glue had foamed up when it was hit with the accelerator, when the chisel came off the surface and opened up a section of the middle finger on my left hand. Whoops. A bandage was quickly applied and the shaping process began. First, I trimmed back the extra resin on the outside of the bowl. I used the 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch swept-back gouges from Hurricane, as well as the 1/2 inch standard grind bowl gouge from Robert Sorby to hollow out the inside of the bowl. I'm still figuring out how to use the standard grind gouge, but it seems to work well. Sanding is always part of the story when you're working with wood. Right after starting the sanding process, I saw that there were areas which would need filling, so the Total Boat UV resin was used and I cured it with, you guessed it, UV light. I sanded from 80 grit to 320 the first time around. After sanding, I went straight to the Brad sanding paste and tongue wax finish. I know that most wood turners clean the surface first with denatured alcohol and then seal it, but I've seen others who don't. Frankly, cleaning is probably better. I love putting the wax on. It makes the resin stand out against the dark walnut background. One of my biggest mistakes in this process was taking the piece off and putting it back on the chuck. The seating surface was not 100% due to the sanding that I had done in the area. The laser engraver was brought out and piece number 75 was engraved and entered into the logbook. I didn't notice that one of the blocks the laser engraver was sitting on was not flat, and the engraving head caught the edge of the mortise, resulting in a unique engraving. The piece finishes out at less than 1/32 of an inch over 3 inches tall. 5 3/4 of an inch diameter at the rim. The sidewall is 3/16 of an inch at the rim. The base is 4 7/16 of an inch in diameter. I recorded as I held the piece after it was laser engraved, and it was quite appalled at the amount of scratches in the surface. Remember when I said it was going to be a quick video? Well, it took me almost a week to do this one, so I'm not sure that I gained any ground. I sanded that finish off and tried again. I did better, but the answer to your question, if it is still, is this as good as it can get, is a resounding no. But the quest is supposed to be part of the journey, right? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, your friends might as well. And here's another video you might like. Thanks. Have a great day.